Alright, hey everybody, I'm here with SortOf today, after the GSTL match that Minnesota just had against Azubu. They were just all killed, unfortunately. How is the atmosphere in the team? After being all killed twice, it's probably not too good, right?
Yeah, a bit down, I'd say.
What were you guys expecting coming into the game?
I was feeling quite confident because I've been doing pretty well in practice, but sadly I wasn't able to bring it today. So.
Did the team really feel like they could win today? I mean, Azubu was also a team that was all killed on the first play day. So did you guys assume this would be one of the easiest games that you're going to have?
I'm not sure because I haven't really seen the other teams in the hardest one yet. But it was obviously never going to be easy. But we were feeling quite confident for the match. But
what went wrong in your game? What would you say was the point where you realized, okay, this is not going as I thought it would?
Well, I don't want to make too many excuses, but I got quite thrown off by the pause. Because
what happened there?
I did all my hotkeys, and then I went away from the computer, and I didn't click OK.
Okay.
Then when I came back, it was gone, and I didn't think about it. So I guess someone clicked away the hotkeys.
Ah, okay.
So then when I got in, my camera hotkeys wasn't working, and I had a bunch of wrong settings. And then when I fixed that, I basically was just kind of thrown off. But
yeah, you told me earlier already that you were really nervous going into the game, so I feel it just added up a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I lost, and that's all that matters. But I feel like after I came back from the pause, I made 2 overlords too early and stuff like that. So I forgot a queen.
Yeah, right.
I got the queen kind of thrown off, and then I never got the momentum back to be able to come back in the game. But
yeah, and the momentum was basically what Gandhi was building that up. I actually was really surprised that he was able to take out Jachi so easily. We casted Gandhi yesterday at the Korea qualifier, and he looked strong, came to his finals, but he didn't win it. Jachi had the same problem. Do you talk a lot with the Korean players that you have in the house about things like this? Like, for example, Jachi's performance in Code A and just the atmosphere in the team itself?
No, not too much. When we talk, it's basically just about strategies and stuff. So.
Yeah. How is the English of the guys? Is there someone in the house who can translate for you, or is it just very, very basic?
It's for the most part very basic. There are a few guys that are a bit better English than the rest of the guys, but for the most part pretty basic.
Who would you say has the best English in the house?
Probably Elenki or Tibble or Mad Bull.
Oh, Mad Bull? Really?
Yeah.
Is he really that outgoing and crazy as he shows it when he's on camera?
Yeah, he's really, really fun.
Yeah, I saw him at the qualifier too, where we didn't get the chance to cast a few of his games, but when he was playing in the preseason, it was really fun when he had this, I don't know, did you see it, this leg duel that he had?
Yeah, I saw
it. That was hilarious, and I was like, oh my god, who are you? How good is he actually?
He's actually quite good.
Because we haven't seen him just yet. The player that they send out most, which was unknown before the season, is Sanai. Also a fellow Zerg player. Do you guys talk about the games? Can he help you? Is he good, or what would you say?
He's really good, but not much because I think we play really different styles, the both of us, so we can't really talk too much about our games and so on.
Talking a little bit about your plans in Korea, you're going back to Europe tomorrow because of WCS. What was your original plan coming to Korea? How long did you want to stay?
I planned to stay until the mid of May and playing as long as possible in the GSTL season, play Code A qualifiers, and yeah, just basically stay as long as I could. And then, yeah.
So everyone, in case that you didn't catch that before, there was a change to the entire system of WCS that was announced. You have to choose a region now, and this also means that you can't participate in the Code A qualifier if you want to participate in Europe or in North America. A lot of the Koreans were traveling or heading over into North America for the qualifiers because they say it's much easier to qualify there than in comparison to Korea. So one of the things that everyone was focusing on is the effects that this has on the Koreans, and also of course to the regions that are affected by them heading over. But I feel for you, this is probably one of the saddest stories that we have with the entire WCS story. Khaldor, of course, is also very affected, so is Naniwa, who just came to Korea. Were you mad when you heard what was going on?
I was mad that we didn't get more time to prepare. It's just hey, this starts in 5 days. You gotta get back to your region, instead of like that. And
how long have you been here before you got before it was announced?
I came here the 6th of March, and I've been here since then. I was to the US 1 week, but otherwise I've been here the entire time.
So you had at least some time to practice, but it must be really annoying for you regardless that you're suddenly told, okay, you can't even stay in Korea, you can practice here, you can't participate in the Code A qualifier, which was probably the entire idea of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things we talked a bit about when you have to head back, the qualifiers in Europe are starting today or tomorrow, so very soon. And for you, that changed a little bit. You actually got an invite. Can you tell us a little bit about how that happened? Because originally you thought you would have to participate in the qualifier.
Yeah, so basically I was just barely below the line of invites, and luckily for me, a few players declined their invite, so I managed to get an invite last minute.
Okay, so you don't have to worry about the qualifier. You have at least a couple of days where you can just get rid of the jet lag and completely focus on practicing, getting into the moderate.
Yeah.
When we last talked, before you came to Korea, I feel it was at Assembly or was it DreamHack? It was one of the bigger tournaments that we had in Europe.
I think it was Assembly.
That was when you just kind of had your breakout a little bit, when you were making the decision, okay, I want to be a pro gamer. Since then, did you regret it at some point, or do you really feel confident in your choice heading down the path?
I never regretted it, but there's been times where I've been lacking motivation. But it's being in Korea really motivates me a lot because the practice is so much better and the environment is just so much better. And I don't know, I just like it here. So,
how do you think it's going to affect you when you now come back to Europe?
Well, last time I came back from Europe, I lost quite a bit of motivation because for once the practice got a lot worse and I was just having kind of bad time back then. But this time I'm really trying to just like keep this motivation and just keep practicing as hard as possible and hopefully come back during the WCS off seasons and practice as much as I can.
Oh, that's really cool. So you want to come back during the off seasons and try to stay here with the team again?
Yeah, if I can.
Oh, that's really good. That's good news. That was something that I think would definitely help you, especially with the motivation. It seems like in the team houses, the entire training atmosphere is just so much better than when you are, let's say, at home or in your own apartment. Talking maybe a little bit about how does this one right now. We had a few weeks now going into the game. I interviewed quite a lot of Zerg players, also Protoss and Terran, and everyone has a different take on the matchups. Do you think there are any imbalances right now, any things where you as a Zerg struggle against a different race, where you say this is not because I personally don't like to play that matchup, but I think this and this is too strong or too weak?
I think there are some things that are a bit too strong, but I don't necessarily think that they need to be patched or anything. I think there's stuff that's going to be like sorted out with time in the game. The only thing I really have an issue with right now is CBC because there's either like go Muta or go Ling Bending all in or go home. It's like not much issues. So.
It's actually also a discussion that has been going on State of the Game for quite some time. A lot of Zerg players try to find a way to transition from Mutalisks when they come at a point where they know they are behind to go into Infestors, but it seems to be really difficult to pull that off. We saw a couple of games actually like being won by Infestor transition. But most of the matches, I feel, as you already said, if you end up in the Mutalisk versus Mutalisk game, it looks like that's all that's going to happen in that match. I mean, first GSL Code S, 60 Mutalisks on each side, that was very interesting game.
Yeah.
What's your favorite matchup these days?
I like both CBT and CVP because they play out quite differently from Winning Liberty. There is no more like just sitting and building Protoss and Infestor. There's like a lot of multitasking, micro, back and forth, stuff like that, always happening in something, which is a lot more fun to both watch and play, I think.
So in terms of, let's say, what is your preferred strategy right now when you go against Terran? Because a lot of Terran players, like Light for example, are still trying to execute their Ling-Muta Bailing style. Others have been arguing that you can't go away from Mutalisks because you need something against the dropships. So what exactly do you do these days?
Recently I've been trying out Hydras and I've been having quite a lot of success with it. So, because they can outrange the mines.
Yeah.
And if you have good map vision, you can always defend the drops easily with them as well. So I think I'm gonna try out more with that. I tried it with practice this last week or so, and it felt quite good. Before that I always played Muta Ling Bailing, but it come to a point where like Terran has so many mines that even if you micro good versus them, you're always gonna trade, but like take bad trades. So, and it's really hard to get to the like ultra-risk transition from the Mutalisk because you have to commit so much resources into Mutas, Lings and Bailings.
Going away from the Zerg versus Terran, talking a little bit about Zerg versus Protoss. One of the complaints a lot of Zergs has been Skytoss, and one of the strategies that I've seen a lot is now Zergs heading into Ultralisks and a lot of Queens, because Queens do really well against Void Race, for example. What is your take on Skytoss in general, and what do you do against Protoss?
Well, I think it's kind of like a scenario like PvPC in Winter Liberty, where if Zerg gets up this brutal...
Kill them before they have
it. Kill them before, pretty much. I think like if you get really far ahead, there's possible to like take that fight, but usually you just want to hit timings before they get that are able to make that switch over to.
Yeah, I actually talked to Jangvi about the same issue, and he said that he feels that Skytos is something that is definitely beatable, and that that Zergs will just have to look at different ways how to beat it. I'm really interested to see how that goes, because I feel that Zergos is probably one of the matchup that has changed the most compared to Wings of Liberty. I mean, back then we only had the Vortex and Infestor Broodlight every single game, so right now it's a little bit different going to the matchup. Do you enjoy Heart of the Swarm?
Yes, it's a lot more fun to play, I think, except for CBC, but I can get over that, so I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'm actually interested to see if we will see some kind of change that makes CBC maybe a little bit more interesting. Do you have any idea, any suggestion what Blizzard could do to make ZVZ a little bit more diverse in the strategies?
We need some sort of answer to the mutas, because like right now having more mutas is always better than having anything else. So they're I don't like the idea of buffing the Infestor, because then it's going to take over the other matchups again, possibly.
Yeah.
So maybe something to the Hydro Disc, but I don't know how you can do that without them becoming imbalanced in CVP and CVT. So it's really hard, but maybe nerf the Mutalisk. I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Well, for those players and Terran players right now are definitely listening up at that, and they're like, "Yep, that's the way to go." I feel most the others are players would probably not agree with you. Mutalisk being the main weapon for a lot of them now with the increased speed and everything. But yeah, it's definitely something that Blizzard already has addressed a bit, that they are not too happy with how that works, and so we might see a change there. Coming back to WCS just for a second, not how it personally affects you, but what do you think about the system in comparison to what we had last year?
I think it's really good actually, but of course it's not that fun that North America is like WCS Korea #2, but I think this is what we need to catch up to the Koreans, because they've had this infrastructure for like 12-15 years, you know, and we need that in order to catch up. Players going up to Korea to practice, that's a solution for that individual player.
That's actually one of the points that I wanted to ask you too. Do you feel that now that suddenly all the foreigners that come to Korea can basically not participate in Code A if they want to participate in WCS Europe or NA? Do you feel that this is a barrier that will cause a lot of foreigners to change their decision and just say like, okay, it's not worth me to come to Korea anymore?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be like, you have to sacrifice even more now to go to Korea. But I think players are going to do it. I'm going to try to come back in the off seasons if possible. But yeah, again, like for a player, if you don't only want to focus on WCS and like that's certain WCS, then you can just stay in Europe now. So it's good for the growth of esports or StarCraft 2 esports outside of Korea. But for those players that made the sacrifice to go to Korea, it's kind of like a knife in the back, you know.
Yeah, I definitely understand. whatever hurts more. Yeah. No, that was actually the exact thoughts that most people had when they first heard about it, and we were a little bit surprised, because Blizzard last year WCS seemed to have this idea of creating these local heroes and storylines, and now suddenly it's a different way to approach it. Now they reward the best players instead of making it a more regional thing, but it just feels like a weird transition, and I can understand that a lot of people are unhappy with that. For you, just talking a little bit about Korea in general, what do you really like about Korea, and what is something that you don't really like where you miss Europe a lot?
Well, the only thing I really miss is being able to communicate at a proper level. So I've been considering learning Korean before I come back next time, but we'll see how.
Before you come back, so not even while you're here?
No, I don't know. It's hard to learn when you're here because I'm so focused at practicing, but
it's true.
I will see what happens. But I enjoy the food. I enjoy the city. The Koreans are really nice, so it's everything in terms of practice is also better than Europe. So if I spoke the language, Korea would be perfect.
So I'm not looking forward to a couple of Swedish meatballs now when you're heading back?
No, not really.
You don't like them?
I mean, they're okay, but Korean food is better. So.
That was the first thing that we got a dream hack. So they invited us to dinner and they're like, okay guys, this is Swedish meatballs. Eat them and like them or you can go home right now. Nah. I have to say I like Korean food, but at the same time it's always kind of fun to come back to Europe and have like proper meal, with potatoes. It's something that they don't really serve you all too often. What's your favorite Korean food?
I like a lot of stuff.
That is way too generic.
Yeah, Korean barbecue is my favorite, I think, but also shabu shabu. It's really good.
Yeah, that's really, really good. It actually took me a long time before I ate that. I think I ate it the first time while I was here for already like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
There's a lot of food that I was still trying to find out. Like a friend of mine took me to get in basically intestines, something that they really love. Koreans love that. It was the most disgusting shit that I've ever tasted in my entire life. I was like, oh my god, how can you eat that? Did you try it?
No, I've not tried it.
It's like, apparently a lot of foreigners, or some foreigners at least, like it. Koreans love that stuff, and I was like really interested. And at first we get like raw liver and also like raw stomach meat. And so I'm already looking at it, and I had no idea that that was not the food that we were there for. I thought that was the main course. So I actually look at it and like, that looks disgusting, but well, let's just try it. So it's just chewing the entire time. The girl's looking at me like, you don't like it, right? And I was like, oh, this is so bad. And then the main course comes, and I'm like, oh my god, now we get serious.
Yeah.
And then the stuff is exactly the same. It's like, well, at least it's not raw, but I don't like it. But in general, I agree with you. There's so much good stuff here. You like butter chicken?
I haven't tried it.
Really?
No.
That's my favorite food. Wolf is in the meantime so annoyed with me because every time we go and get food, I'm like, okay, booty chicken every day. It's like the one go-to meal that I have, and he's like, I can't see it anymore. I love it, but we eat it too often. So it's like, yeah, well, yeah. So for you, flight back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when do your game start?
On the 25th.
25th.
Yeah. I was hoping to go to DreamHack as well, but the playlist was full, so.
Would have been nice to know that a little bit earlier, I guess,
Yeah.
right? So what are you gonna do while you'll be staying with your parents, or do you have your own apartment there?
I'm living with my parents, but right now I'm looking into options, finding some European team house maybe. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Wish you all the best. Good flight back home. Thank you for the interview,
Thank
and
you.
I hope that we are gonna see you soon in Korea again. Good luck, of course, for WCS.
Thank you.